Nope, it's over.
Oh, there it goes.
And you're back.
All right. Hello.
You there? You see us? Everything
Yeah, I can.
clear?
We're all good. We're all 100%.
Okay. Okay, no, there was a glitch on this side, so
No problem at all.
a little bit. All right. You want to kick it off, Frank?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I
Oh, you
was
only did
gonna
one
avoid.
hello.
Yeah, I was avoiding hello, but
Oh, well, fuck that one up. All right.
okay. So hello,
Hello.
welcome to the Complete Information Podcast. I am Frank, along with,
Tony.
and today we
I got
have,
same, Frank.
today we have a very special guest. Well, they're all special in their own special way. Therefore, no one is special.
Some of them certified, though. Some of y'all are certified. We've had a few guests that were certified special.
I see. So yeah, today we have Tim on. Hello, Tim.
Hi, guys.
Tim Tox6 on Instagram. Where else? Where do they find you?
Oh, I'm
Let them
also,
know
I'm
at the.
also yeah, I'm on
Yeah.
BitChute, under Culture, and that's pretty much it right now.
Yeah, man. Just want to let everybody know at the top of the episode. Let everybody know they can find us at completelyinappropriatepodcast@gmail.com with any of their comments, questions, concerns. Want them to want to be able to tell us what kind of agitators we are, apparently, based on what a title, a 5-second intro that you didn't even get past. Hey guys, relax. We're all about the peace, love, and prosperity amongst all of us, man. Relax. Um, fuck.
Yeah, that's what we always sign
Everybody's
off.
so angry, Tim.
Fucking
Why is everyone so angry?
I think everyone's angry because they're confused and scared more than anything else. And when you get scared, the easiest way to behave is that you're a big scary thing. So whatever's scaring you won't be able to eat you. It's a basic primal feature. When you're a kid and you think there's monsters in your room, you make your hands into claws under your blanket. You know what I mean? And you're like, oh, they'll think I'm a monster too. It's the same mentality with these people now that are finding huge groups to lash out at. It's just fear. It's childish.
yeah, the cat's in a corner.
Cats in the cradle with a silver spoon.
Cats in the kettle at the peaking moon.
Ooh, you're getting kinky. So kinky. So Tim, man, I gotta apologize. I'm a little low energy. Sorry we had to postpone about an hour with you. Apparently last night was graduation celebration day. And in true Hispanic Mexican culture fashion, we had a mariachi band and a DJ out in our backyard in the house behind us. And which is fine. You know, they kept going. We were able to knock out. You know, we passed out maybe around midnight. Then at about 3:30 in the morning, I hear about 3 or 4 times every 5 minutes for the next 30 minutes from like 3:30 in the morning to 4 a.m. I was like, no.
That's when you know your neighbors are drunk.
No more. I don't care that it's Saturday. There are some people that don't give a shit about you and your daughter graduating, man. I'm sorry.
I mean,
Jesus
that's
Christ.
It's Saturday. Now it's eating into your Sunday. Well, you guys had your
Oh,
Saturday. Right? It's 3 in the morning.
It killed me too. Yeah, we had gone to the parlor yesterday, the tattoo parlor yesterday. My first parlor experience. All my tattoos have been garage fucking tattoos, but I got this arm piece touched up. I got to go back and get the background done, but it was like 3 hours. Dude, I tell you what, from 12 years ago to today, the quality of those machines are amazing. I didn't feel this shit practically at all. It was just like somebody scraping my skin a little bit.
Yeah, the guy used the new fucking
Rotary, right?
tattoo guns.
The rotary tattoo guns.
Yeah,
that are
it,
just,
it looks like a pen. Just a pen with a fucking ball at the end, and there's no sound.
silent.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty damn silent. You have any ink?
Yeah,
I think we asked you that.
yeah, I got a bunch of stuff. It's all disconnected and segmented. I got some when I was locked up. I got some parlors in Jersey. Some were just my friends put them on me. But I mean, they're all random and segmented. I've got a date up there. I got it with a bunch of people. It's February 10th. And then I've got I shouldn't have gotten it. It's just like getting a name because at this point I don't even hang out with the people anymore. It's like
Right.
I got is this real written backwards because when I put it on, I was looking in a mirror and I was engaged in some herbal medicine at the time, so it didn't
That
occur to me.
explains it.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome though.
And
At least it goes with the motif of the phrase. It can be taken as intentional than artistic.
yeah,
Now, if you told people the real story, they think yeah, otherwise. But just yeah, ignorance is bliss. You seemed smart until you explained it.
it's fine. I think I was 17 or 18, and it seemed like a good idea. We had access to a tattoo gun. They'd been practicing on fake flesh. My friend had the word putty put on her arm, like pussy putty tat. And because
that's great.
Yeah, that seemed like a great idea at the time too. We're like, that's hilarious, because we always used to call each other. We wouldn't call each other pussies. We'd be like, oh, I thought I saw a putty tat. Like, it was fucking goofy. We were in high school, and apparently, marking the body forever is the side effect of that motif.
It happens. How old were you with your first one? And what was your first one?
My first one, I have a Gaelic rune on my ankle, and I'm not flexible enough to be pulling it up right now. But I was 15, I think. I got it in a Stop and Shop parking lot.
What? Oh, my cat's going crazy over there. Silence, you. It's Da Vinci. Anyway, we'll get to animals later. So you, so your Gaelic one. I'm sorry, I got totally distracted.
It's fine. I got it put on by this punk rocker in my town at the time named Nick. I forget his last name. Nick something, and he had really bad skin, but he was a really good bassist, and he used to give everybody tattoos all the time. It was like his thing. He gave somebody a really terrible Bad Religion piece on their shoulder that was like a disturbing amount of ink went into this guy's arm, and it all bleached right back out because it was like done terribly. And I don't know if you ever got that repaired, but
you'd have to at some point. Cool. I've got to figure out what is going on with my cat. Keep this going for a minute. I'll be right back. Sorry.
Yeah, so then, because Tony was asking, he's like, does Tim have any tattoos? And I'm like, I know of the one, because in your live stream, I saw, that one right there. I was thinking a wrench, but I'm like, no, that's not a wrench.
Oh, it's a shepherd's crook.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah, I got it because I'd rather, I don't know, theologically, everybody takes a bunch of turns, and the way I was looking at it in my life is I'd rather be the shepherd than the tyranny of evil men. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. I was going to get crossed. Yeah, I was gonna get it crossed with a 45 or a sword or something, and then I grew up and didn't. So,
I know a handful of girls that have a shit ton of fucking like unnecessary amounts of fucking crosses tattooed on them, and this one chick was like, "Well, I really love crosses," and I'm like, "Wow, fucking Catholicism, how far it stretches."
Well, it goes. It's just the new generation Hispanic, because everybody's mom here that I know of always had a wall of silver crucifixes or silver crosses.
Walls of crosses.
Yeah, because you go to Mexico. Back in the day, we'd go to Mexico and they'd have these stands just of dozens and dozens of silver crosses for you to buy. And so every time we went, she'd get another one for the wall, another one for the wall. Oh, these two are cute. Another two for the wall. Big ones, small ones, little ones, big ones.
You'd think they're buying their way to heaven.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Protecting against something, that's for sure.
Yeah, one of them Christian recruiters was like, "Hey, here's a Bible, whatever." And I'm like, "Oh, I have plenty of fucking Bibles." And he's like, "Oh, so you're building the fucking stairway to heaven?" And I'm like, "You don't cover fucking stairway." And he's like, "No, like
no, bro, rolling papers, yeah,
like one Bible at a time, stacking them up to make your way to heaven." And I'm like, "Oh, I guess."
I mean, that relates back to fear, like we were talking about before. A lot of the reason people will dive into religion isn't because they're seeking some sort of absolution or they're seeking some sort of a betterment of themselves. They're just afraid of what could be there. It's like, all right, let's say the most logical decision is to not be an atheist, because let's say God doesn't exist and you don't believe in God, no problem. God does exist and you don't believe in God, problem. So a logical mind would say, hey, I'll double down just in case and put $1 in every basket.
Like, he's a condom. You'd rather have him and not need him than need him and not have him.
Yep. And
you gotta keep it in your wallet.
Yeah, exactly. And if that's all God is to you, or if that's all religion is to you, is just something to protect you from fear, then as a person, you've got a bit more to go through until you finally start to understand that there's a little more than just you, and the world isn't just about whoever you are individually. There's more to it than that. And if you don't get that yet, you're never going to get it. You can just fake it, I guess.
Yeah. So, Frank.
Yeah.
You want to explain your tattoo? I know you guys had a little exchange yesterday on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on real quick. Was I sensing a little bit of shade, Tim?
Oh, dude, when I thought it was, I was like, why? Like, why? No.
You should have seen the sketch, the original sketch with no color, no like detail to it at all. It was just literally just.
It actually looked like a star.
I can't explain.
Right, and then just looking at it, I asked Tony, I'm like, is my tattoo gay? Because I'm like,
yeah, but to be fair, all tattoos are a little gay.
Yeah, everything's a little gay. And I'm like, well, yeah, like I know what I'm getting. I know why I'm getting it. Fuck what they think. But I'm pretty sure if I get locked up again, I'm definitely gonna have to prove I'm not a bitch.
We're all doing it. It's permanent makeup. All tattoos are a little gay.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I
don't
mean,
worry about it.
the only reason it had concerned me initially was I thought it was just the crescent moon and the star. And I was like, well, we have conversations about ideology. You've never given into the idea or given me the impression that you're a follower of Islam. So it seemed a bit off-putting at first.
Oh, okay, yeah. I thought you
Whoa!
meant like it's a crescent moon and a star, and a lot of chicks fucking get that. You fucking Google it, and a lot of chicks get a fucking crescent moon with a
I didn't
star
put
on
it
there.
together. It was Islam. Oh my god, that's so funny. That's how far removed we are from that kind of info.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
And then you're like, no, there's a spider, there's a bunch of intricate detail in it. And I was like, okay, now I see it for something else. Now it's art, but from a
I
distance,
wouldn't say a bunch
like,
of intricate detail, but
yeah.
Well, it's
some good
fucking
reasoning too.
meaning and shit. For those of you listening, it's a fucking spider with a fucking its web wrapped around the crescent moon, and then between the points of the crescent moon is a Gemini sign, because I'm a Gemini. And it started as kind of a joke, because Tony was like, "Yeah, we should get matching tattoos for our birthday," and he was like, "Matching Gemini tattoos," and I'm like,
a
"No,
fucking
that's
joke,
fucking
bro.
gay."
But then you go and get one. Then you went and got a Gemini tattoo, literally, like the symbol.
Yeah.
Not even like a an insinuation of a Gemini. No, it's just a straight up Gemini symbol. You didn't go anywhere where I thought you would with that.
Tattoos started out like the term scot-free. I got off scot-free. Well, that relates back to tattoos because sailors were mostly Scottish. The Scots made great sailors, and they used to get inked whenever they crossed the equator, inked when they went to a different hemisphere, inked when they went to a different country, inked if they committed a crime, inked if they got a certain prostitute from a certain country, inked for everything. You'd also get inked if you went to prison. They would brand you with a P if you were a pirate. They'd brand you on your face if you were a runaway, if you fled the army or you fled the French Foreign Legion, for example. If you broke your contract, they'd brand you so people would recognize it, right? Well, tattoos in Russia specifically, the image of a spider descending its web means you are no longer actively committing your life of crime. You are done with that shit. If the spider is going up its web, that symbol implies that you are still actively playing the game. So I like the esoteric symbolism of the spider is leaving the web. It's I don't know. For me, I don't know if you were going for that or not, but that's especially in prison in Russia, they use their tattoos to communicate. Like if you have a spire, every spire or church top is a body. And you'll see some people that have the whole Tsar's palace with dozens of spires coming up with lights in every window, and some of the lights are shut out. And when the lights get shut out, it's just like in America, we use teardrops or we use blood drops coming off your mouth to signify whether or not you got revenge or whether or not it happened to you while you were inside. And it's like if you lose someone while you're locked up, you'll get a certain type of tear. If you take someone out while you're locked up for rank, basically, you'll get a different type of tattoo. And you can tell a story with your flesh that way. And it's like I don't see people.
Yeah, that's the idea.
I had no idea there was that many variants of the teardrop tattoo.
Yeah, I do consider prison tats when coming up with my own tattoo.
There's
That's
like the hollow one, the filled in one, when there's two. Interesting. Wow, I never would have thought
yeah,
that.
but I didn't know that about the fucking Russian one. That's why I'm like,
I
I'll
like the
never
idea
do
of the
stars.
windows. The window would have blacked out. I guess the lights are out in those particular windows for each mark. I guess.
I'm not. I don't want to lead somebody
Yeah,
astray.
something
But
like that.
what I understand is having lights and having not lights, especially in spires, or having a tower that has certain windows lit and certain windows unlit. It relates back to basic gematria and numerology, which are huge in gang culture. It's a lot bigger in gang culture than it is in popular everyday culture, because everyday culture seems to utilize a little higher brow or more sophisticated, more like Western anglicized sophistication with their logic and their rhetoric. But the way societies work, if they're not based off of like an ancient monarchy, they go whichever way they're going to go. And for the most part, you see that with La M a lot. You see it with coming out of El Salvador. A lot of the ideas these people have, they're based on ancient religions that reject the idea of the Catholic Church. So it's like their symbolism is esoteric because they think it's disdainful to put that other shit on top of other old belief systems. So they build things that like reverse engineer. The Rose and the Cross, for example, together. The Rosicrucians, the Rosicrucians. That whole idea is fascinating to me just because that it's blasphemous. It's openly saying like, okay, we get your ideology, we understand it, but there's more. There's Santeria too. There's something else. There's lesser spirit I can talk to. So like when I went to
it's a common thing down here that they're brujas, brujarias around here. They're herbarias, the card readers all around here, and they all claim, they pray to the saints and they pray to Mother Mary, but they're also asking the gods of darkness and shit. I don't know
Yeah,
what the fuck it
about
is.
88.
I'm still waiting to get somebody like that on this goddamn pod. I want to get more into the mysticism aspect of these this other.
Yeah,
we don't know
about
about.
88 to 92% of people down here in the RGV pray to La Santa Muerte, which is fucking Saint Death.
Yeah, it's weird. It's very odd, and it's the more traditional Mexican families that are here. A lot of which we're related to. At least 50% on all other side is all very traditional.
What's really freaking weird about it, in my opinion, I went to Cuba with my father a bunch of years ago. He and I, we had a tumultuous relationship on and off for years, and at one of our up points, I'd gotten a pass for the Associated Press, and he'd gotten a pass through one of his clients because he was a matrimonial attorney, and he'd gotten a journalism pass, and he was like, hey, I have a client who's like, we can go to Cuba if you want. We can take a flight out of Mexico into Cuba, and then from Cuba back to Mexico. So we went. The cars and everything else, that's all true. They drive classics. They're not allowed to technically sell them because they're considered national assets. But every single tree, because we stayed at a B&B basically, every single tree on the corner of the block we were on had Santeria podiums in it, had tokens, had totems, had hollows dug out, had coins dropped, alcohol. There were bullets. There were burned pieces of wood and script and cloth. There were every sort of hoodoo you can imagine is
but
being.
You know what it is? I understand the belief. Sorry, you're going on a rant, and I just want to talk.
I don't want to rant about it. I just want to say what I think is interesting about it is to put a capstone is Cuba was they had a huge socialist push, and that means you got to reject the idea of a divine ruler over you and replace it with the state or replace it with bureaucracy. Which, if you think about it, a lot of saints instead of God, that is effectively socialism disrupting your ability to pray to God. They put some
I think you're getting too intentional with it. I think all of this just goes back to the same thing. It's fear. We're all just putting our faith in different things. It doesn't matter what it is. All it is we choose the God that's going to reaffirm our wants and our desires and the things that we choose to believe, not what we're even necessarily raised to believe. Because if my mom raised me not to steal, but then I see her stealing fucking panties from the fucking Walmart every time we fucking go, I'm gonna grow up and start stealing fucking candies from the candy store, and then I was taught better than that, but I witnessed much different, and so that just makes more sense of a lifestyle to me because, well, yeah, we're not supposed to, but I can get away with it. So let's go with the god of
getting away with things,
getting away with shit, just fucking make it our Frank,
Fuck yeah.
We're starting a cult. We just need to figure out. Frank's gonna be the face. I'm gonna be the mouthpiece behind, what is it? Wild Wild Country. He's gonna be Bikram. I'm gonna be that crazy lady that actually ran shit.
Right.
But he's got the look. He's already got the beard. He's the come fuck me attitude.
Fuck yeah.
The come hither lips. Stick it out. Stick out. Let me see the tongue. Let me see the tongue. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Is this too inappropriate for you?
Too homoerotic.
You look like Ball. Got the beard curling and the long ass tongue. You look like Ball.
What's Ball?
Malik Ball, Baal. Oh, his face is all over the place. Like if you look at any really cool architecture in America, the Masons built in Philly, everywhere else, they put Ball on the outside of a lot of their buildings. It's this dude who usually has corn husks behind his ears because he's the god of bountiful harvest, but he requires things in exchange. So they use him when they lay the cornerstone. He's usually who they're invoking. He's got the big beard, tongue sticking out, aggressive features.
Yeah, that was going to be my explanation.
I don't think I could spell this right because I'm
Baal. That was going to be my explanation that he's an ancient god, but then you went more into detail. And I'm like, oh, good thing we have Tim.
Ooh, anybody see Bahubali on Netflix? It's a Hindi movie. It's amazing.
I guess.
It's like the Hindi Hercules or it's just fucking great. I love fucking foreign. Do you ever watch foreign films where you got to fucking read the shit captions, whatever? Yeah, what do you watch when you get into random shit like that?
I'm a huge fan of Korean films, especially their martial arts films. Like I saw The Devil. There's a bunch of these that are fucking great because they put so much effort into the quality of the storytelling, not just the special effects. So it's like what you're witnessing is actually like Shakespearean, powerful.
Absolutely. Did you ever see The Last Train to Busan?
Yes. That was intense.
Amazing. You did not not a fucking sentence practically to read the entire time. It's all just emotion, fear, looks in each other's fucking eyes. It is one of the most well-produced things I've ever fucking seen when it comes to these shitty ass zombie movies that we just regurgitated here in the United States for fucking years. The fucking Walking Dead just fucking shoving its own thumb fucking straight up its own ass and spinning around. It just drove me crazy. It drove me crazy.
They
But
made a version of the same show, Fear the Walking Dead, on top of The Walking Dead.
oh, it drove me nuts. I couldn't believe it.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, Jack. Yeah, exactly. Just throw it away. Throw it away.
Stupid.
Back to mysticism. I wanted to know about. Sorry, I wasn't looking at the screen. If we're cutting each other, Skype. Yeah, you go. Hey. God, this is great audio. So, sorry, Tim. Go ahead. I don't even know what the fuck I was gonna ask anymore.
No, you were gonna steer back into mysticism. I was saying you could go right ahead.
Yeah. So, what do you think of astrology?
I think that fundamentally I believe that all magic is technology we don't understand yet, and I think that it's really ignorant to close ourselves off to systems that people can prove are functional, like certain forms of astrological worship. They're not just pre-predictive; they're actually intelligent. Like it makes sense, and it's not
the simplest being like the moon and the tide, right? That's a very close correlation that we can see. We can tangibly notice it as the moon gets closer to Earth. The tide comes up, and yeah, we see that.
And it
but how do you?
It affects women's menstruation. It affects plant life. It affects how you sleep. It affects your aggression. The amount of vitamin D your skin's absorbing from the sun reflected through the moon affects your mood more than you realize. So if you're out in the moonlight and you're getting double the vitamin D you usually get, it will make you feel different, and you won't know why. So like there's some parts of that shit that's not, it is scientific, it is. And we're told to ignore it by ideologues. People who say, no, my ideas mean that you can't look at the stars and garner any information, that's crazy. Well, fuck that guy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Like,
well, okay, now, but what do you think about? I mean, obviously there are charlatan fucking newspapers and shit. Do you think there are actual people that can read the stars and give you an actual horoscope? Do you think there's a traditional way of reading these things, and we've just kind of bastardized them to fucking, utilize them as fucking fodder for the fucking American public? But do you think that there's still some mysticism behind certain readers, or is it all just kind of bullshit?
I think that the versions we get now, especially the versions that are mass syndicated, you're right, those are bullshit, because that's an example of a technology that most people should not be allowed to use, at least according to the powers that design what we do and don't see as acceptable. So I think that somewhere there are still druidic practices that utilize concepts that absorb information that's readily available from our environment to predict what's coming next. People do it for storms. The sailors at sea do it for storms constantly. They can look up, they can smell the wind, and they can be like, fuck, we gotta go. This whole area is going to be hell on frothing white water within the next 6 hours. And there's no scientific instrument on the boat. He just knows. And we know that this can be measured, it can be seen, it can be proven. So in my opinion, it's ignorant to claim that it's all bullshit, but it's also ignorant to claim that bullshit isn't mixed in it.
Yeah, because like you said, the sailors. I mean, obviously you're out there enough. You're gonna feel the temperature drop. You're gonna smell the electrons flowing in the air when there's a storm. A mile off that you can't see, but you feel it. We know that now because of the science that explained it. But back then it was just this guy's. Oh, he's an ancient seaman, and he's got the seeing eye and can tell all the wonders of the storms at be. They treat him like a mystic or something, and he's really just fucking experienced and paid attention to his body's reaction to his surroundings. But that was mystic because, well, you're just fucking weird for paying that much attention to yourself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think of the way sacrifice used to work, originally, way ancient practice, pre-Christian. Well, if your kids are going hungry and you can't get anything to grow, and the earth has been not cooperating because you don't understand scorched earth policies, you don't understand scratch and move to a new area and come back when the nitrogen in the soil is replenished. You don't get that because it's year 5. You don't know. And in an act of desperation, you slaughter your last cow or you slaughter your last goat and you bury it under a tree that used to produce fruit and you beg the gods to give you fruit. And what you've just done is restock that soil with fertile nutrients. And when the frost is gone in a couple months, the soil will have broken that goat down. The tree will be healthier. It will produce fruit. Did God do it for you? Did whatever God you sacrificed the goat to do it? Or did you activate a button on the microwave and the microwave worked? And you're like, oh, it's because I went booga booga before I pushed the button. Like, no, dude.
Booga booga. Good touch. Good touch. Yeah, man. So Frank, what do you got to say about all this mysticism shit? What about gems and stones, healing crystals and whatnot?
Oh yeah, because there's also such thing as birthstones.
Oh
and
damn!
people can never fucking agree on what month goes to what stone.
Well, there's because you got the moonstone and birthstone that all same thing. But anyway, sorry, I just realized on this same subject, our tattoo artist, the guy that worked next to him, they said his wife sells these healing crystals. We should have fucking hit her up.
We should.
We got to get back to that. Note, this is just a note for myself for when I listen back to this episode that we got to fucking get
Yeah, but
back
when
to
you
that.
think about it, she's selling people rocks.
But they're pretty.
Yeah, but she's still selling rocks.
She's selling peace of mind.
That is the American dream. She's gathering the bounty of the soil and selling it to people who are willing to buy it for fucking. That's go for you.
People sell prayer candles and shit. It's the same goddamn thing. It's just peace of mind, something you think works. It's placebo. Placebo has a scientific backing to it as well, you know? That's all.
That's why Ronda Rousey was successful, because of hypnotism and placebo effect. She even admits it. When she finally got knocked out and she got her glass jaw cracked, she wasn't more capable of being knocked out than she ever was before. She lost her confidence. That's all it was. She explains this in interviews. She was like, she was going to a hypnotist 4 times a week. She was every day listening to the same tapes. She thought she was unstoppable, and it manifested in her physical performance. That's the Valkyrie concept. What behind like pre-pagan or Christian post-pagan religions of Valkyries, when they were talking about the warrior angels that will pick your soul up and bring you to Valhalla, you won't even feel the sword kill you on the battlefield. You'll just be dropped into the land of your all fathers. Well, like that's great propaganda, because what it does is make you feel invincible, and then you'll behave like you're invincible. The placebo effect is totally real like that.
Yeah, man. I gotta ask. I just noticed that tattoo on your forearm. What is that one?
Oh, we just went over it.
Did we?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is it's a shepherd's crook. Originally, I got you had to deal with the cat.
Oh, I was dealing with the cat. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm a little bit alleviated there. I felt so stupid for a second. I was like, did you talk about it?
Yeah.
Okay, well then I'll ask Frank about it later.
Shepherd's crook. I was gonna say
Jesus, I'm a
shepherd's
piece of shit.
stick, but it shows my simplicity.
Yeah, placebo effect. That's what we were on before I got fucking all ADD'd out over here.
Yeah, he wrote these questions,
wrote
and then
something.
he's
Yeah,
fucking
'cause I got-
confident
Listen,
in
man.
himself.
I have no fucking sleep in me. I'm so fucking tired.
Good.
Best I can. I almost canceled this. I was like, dude, let's just go a week dark. You're like, we can't do that. Like, just 1 week, dude. Like, no. Like, okay.
Well, if it means anything in that regard, I have this anxiety sensation before I commit any act. Like if I'm at work and I have to cut something, right? I'll line it up, I'll start the saw, everything will be fine. And right before I actually touch wood, it's right before I get in a fight. It's the same sensation of nervousness. And I go, just before I came on here and talked to you guys, I was like, oh, fuck, I should wheedle out of it. I should find a way not to do it. Oh, nobody gives a shit. It's a waste of my time, wasted their time. I'm wasting their time, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, wait, no. That's just bitch, and you got to tell your inner bitch to shut up and do what you wanted to do when you woke up, because you know what you want, and there's going to be every reason in the world never to do the thing you want to do. But if you want to do it, that's the reason to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I thought I was gonna be able to actually sleep in. Like once I finally got to sleep, so I woke up at like 6:45, and I mentioned it, like, dude, let's just at least see if we could postpone. I needed at least another. And thank God I did, because I was not awake when he got here, like 20 minutes before we started this. So. I just need a little extra time, man. That I'm so used to a routine nowadays. Like I go to sleep by like 9-10 o'clock, wake up at 4:45, work till 3:30. Now my schedule just changed. I used to work from 7 to 6. Now I'm working 7 to 3:30 Monday through Friday instead of Thursday. So it's like my schedule's been off, and then this guy fucks with me in the backyard over here with his fucking pachanga that he's fucking having. Puro pinche party, putos.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So speaking of fucking Tex-Mex down here,
Oh,
so-
I'm out of it, man.
so
Out of it.
so Tim, you saw that clip of the fucking guy revving
We're
the
not getting
chainsaw.
into the fucking. No.
Okay.
I don't want to talk about. Yeah, but chainsaws are fun.
All I'll say about it is that's a terrible thing to do to a chainsaw. He doesn't have the right carbide teeth. All he did was dull the hell out of that, and made I don't know. He made the whole thing look bad. Made everybody on the street look bad, and made himself look like an idiot. And whoever bought that chainsaw for him gonna be pissed as hell when they find out it's dull.
Well, the company bought it for him, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, most people own their own equipment and run their own business down here.
Yeah, because in Minneapolis, there's a lot of trees to cut down.
Yeah, here there's a lot of everything to cut. Things grow here. We're a tropical climate. Shit grows here like fucking weeds. Like weeds. There's always something to fucking cut here. Always something. Always something. So I'm enjoying this little low energy moment here, brought to you by the letter F. Cause fuck Frank.
Okay.
How you doing? What is this shirt you have on, by the way?
Oh, it's Aaron Lewis.
Who the fuck is Aaron Lewis? I swear we've had this conversation.
Aaron
on the podcast
Lewis is the lead vocalist of Stained.
Stained. I know this. Oh no, we're repeating an entire episode. Okay. Back to Tim. I haven't completely forgotten about you, Tim. I just forgot what the hell the point of this podcast was.
Oh, because you wanted to talk to Tim about feel good stuff.
What makes you feel good? Ooh, what's your kink?
Ooh. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about that.
I knew it. I had to write it down.
Me.
No,
Like it involves somebody. I can't you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's called being respectful to yourself and your partner. That's a beautiful thing. I don't hold such qualms, but I don't.
What makes me feel good though, I really like one of my favorite things ever since I was a kid, and it's honestly changed. It's influenced the jobs I've taken and the directions I've tried to push my career in. If you can, I still feel like a kid. I still feel like we're all kids, and now we have to run the world, and that's a really backwards idea. And so somehow I'm waiting for like my adult manual to come in the mail, where they're like, "Oh, now you're a grown up." Like it's like no.
At one point, I just realized nobody ever grows up. We're eternal children. We're all living like Peter Pan is such a popular story because we all feel like him. Like we all feel like Wendy Darling at some point. We all feel like Peter Pan. Sometimes we even feel like Tinkerbell, just fucking somebody to be abused and fucked with on the side and just taking advantage of all the fucking time when you just want some fucking pixie dust up your fucking nose.
Yeah.
People we play all these roles, but we're all just lost boys.
And Smee. I feel like Smee a lot.
Smee?
Get no respect. Yeah. Hook's always yelling at me. It's terrible.
Who's hooking this scenario?
I don't know. Everybody.
Good cover.
Life.
Good cover.
Maybe. Yeah, to quote the great Doctor Who, there's no point in growing up if you can't be childish sometimes.
Oh, speaking of your Nordic rune tattoo or whatever it was, I thought I asked him again. I have no fucking memory.
What?
Because I asked you again yesterday at the tattoo parlor about the Doctor Who tattoo.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Fucking Time Lords. You watch Doctor Who?
I've watched the previous seasons. It's kind of a shame that what they've done to it.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
You said I've seen better. Like straight up, like the Batwoman show that Ruby Rose just got fired from. They're gonna keep the show, but they just kicked the main actor and they're gonna change the main actor of the main character of the show. That is the show's namesake, because it was written so poorly that the reviews dropped by 75%. Started out with almost 2 million, ended up with only a couple 100,000 on their big finale. And it's like, well, how about we focus on good storytelling instead of focusing on filling diversity quota boxes? Like, well, this show's got to be good because it has an X and Y, a Z, a D, an A, a B, and an F. It's like, no, why can't it just be a good show because it's written well? I thought that was the bar. Like, I don't know.
I'm at the point where all I watch is like stand-up comedy or like comedic shows, like like just like bullshit. You know what I mean? Because anything that's trying to tell a story now is just so convoluted, exactly in those ways.
Yep. It's a shame. It's definitely a shame, but a white pill that comes out of that, like a good feeling that you can get out of that pretty easily. We're watching people. We're watching people start to realize that you can't just create shows in a boardroom. Like you can't create shows in a boardroom. you've got to like have them written by people that passionately care about the project they're creating. It's like pop music. If you recycle it and make it the same crap, that's why people don't listen to pop anymore. They listen to pop from the 90s, but that's like it. They listen to pop from the early 2000s. But for the most part, real people that like music, they don't turn on the radio and jam. They turn it on. They're like, what is this shit? Oh.
Yeah, if you're lucky, you hear one song by one new band that's like popular for a month and then they never come. Like, I'm sorry, fuck any haters on Greta Van Fleet. They are fucking musicians. The guy sings amazing. Like, whether or not they need their style yet, they'll develop that. But they are legit musicians that are doing an homage to some legit musicians that used to exist. So the people that were hating on their first couple albums, like just wait till they come out with something. Like Blue October, they were fucking huge for a while. They were a little whiny and emo, but it was a very unique sound. Like that's what there's all these popular that nothing lasts anymore, man. The good music doesn't last, and the only thing we hear all over is again ass, titties, ass and titties, ass, titties, titties, ass and titties. From the fucking 80s, and it just kept on going and repeating itself with all this fucking. So tired of it.
The corporate sponsorships. Like if you look at, I know we're not covering the big elephant in the fucking room, but if you look at the corporations that are sincerely saying, yes, $10 million from us, $10 million from us, $15 million from us, we'll match up to $250 million from us. You're looking at all the major corporations that are backing the civil unrest, and we're saying, okay, so what happened to being anti-establishment? What happened to us realizing we don't want to be the corporations, we want to be the people? That's what punk rock used to be. Now the punks are out in the street going, oh, Google said to do it, I'm going to do it. I got to listen to what a MasterCard tells me to do. Like,
all right, so that's one way to look at it here in the United States. If you want to dive into it, let's dive into it. How do you explain the fact that it's happening all over the world as well?
Yeah.
Like it's not just a local issue. It's not just a one country issue. It's not even like it's spread like Corona. It makes no. It's how do you explain every one of these places?
And Corona's just gone now. Now all of a sudden you can groups of less than 6 people unless you're protesting, then 100 plus. I have a screenshot of that. That was on the news today. News today.
No, yeah, of course. I think I'm a firm believer that Rona is real. Rona is a problem, but just like the flu, and it was just utilized by governments all around the world because I feel like they were lining this fucking, I don't know what the fuck they're lining up, man. But at this point, when it comes to Rona being all over the world and now protests being all over the world, like there's only one way for that to have happened, and it's a mass media campaign to spread this information throughout the entire world. But how can that be a government-funded thing? It's all of these algorithms that have been built on Amazon or Instagram or Facebook. It's all based on our likes, on our interests. It's just showing us that all this fucking duality that we enjoyed on the movie screens. Now we have a chance to see that in real life because it's not good enough to see it in a fictional movie. We have to make it fact. We have to see it in real life and see, can I experience this thing? It's the zombie fetish all fucking being realized. We all just want to see, can I survive the fucking end of the world? Can I be a revolutionary? Can I be on top of this when all is said and done? Well, but that's not the government controlling us. That's our own fucking idiocy, our own socialized fucking ideologies that we've created for ourselves through fucking media.
Would you call it a self-fulfilling prophecy?
It is exactly a self-fulfilling prophecy. It is it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. What?
I've got 2 quick points to attack.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, I rambled there for a minute. That's on me.
That was really good stuff. Look, I think that when people say government, I've said this before, you can't pretend it's a homogenous thing. Like when you say human beings, when you say Texas, when you say anywhere, when you say when people say Israel, right? Whole bunch of red flags go off. People don't realize that Israel is the same way the United States is. There's a multi-factioned government. Some sides want one side, some sides want another side. I mean, you've got Putin getting involved in Western Jerusalem. People, why? Eastern Jerusalem completely rejects the idea of any government being involved in Israeli business, right? So just like in the United States, when you've got left and right, somebody wants to talk about the United States is racist. There are people in the United States in our government that are getting down on their knees to fight racism because they feel terrible because they're white and that burns inside them and they feel so guilty. So it's like, how can you say homogenous, like the government? You know what I mean? But that's not the hang up I want to click on. I want to say it flows back to what you were just talking about with mysticism. You create the world. You manifest everything you ever want to manifest. This was thought of in somebody's head. They thought of this and now it's real and I'm holding it. That's all we do as human beings. Our job is to manifest our ideas into reality. That's our magic, right?
This shit was Star Trek. This shit was Star Trek 20 fucking years ago. Now we got communicators on our fucking wrist. Hey Siri, how are you today?
Taking her sweet ass time.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
And what's crazy about it is not only is it predictive in the sense that they are showing us what we will, they will show us what we will have, right? The media will show us a version of the world we should avoid. The media will show us a version of the world we should seek. They'll attach it to big, really basic colors or smells or tastes or sensations. And then they'll say everything that makes you feel this way is this movie I showed you, like it or don't like it. Well, that system is trying to harness the human mind's ability to manifest your ideas in reality. Like, that's what magic really would be. You want to talk about Kabbalah or mysticism, all of it relates back to the concept of I can manifest change outside of my body with just my mind. Like that, and ultimately that's true, because I can, before, if I'm out in public and I see a police officer buying a sandwich, I can manifest many realities in my own world by what I choose to do, and it all starts in my thoughts. If I harass him because he's a cop, I am going to dramatically change what's going to happen to me in the next hour. Right? However, if I do nothing, the thought still is there. The thought to do the fucked up thing will still be there. And like you were saying, you're used to a conditioned pattern now where you wake up a certain way and when you break that pattern, your shit's out of whack. Well, if you have a pattern where against your will, you'll see a uniform or a flag or an idea and you will get hate. You will get anger. You will hear, even if they're not your words or your voices or your opinions, you'll know that makes people angry. Red hats. Red hats are a great example now. People see red hats, and half the population, they hear Ironsides from Kill Bill.
Hold on. The problem with this particular analogy, or really in general, is, again, we can't group everybody. We can't say it's the government, it's this group, it's that group. It's just people letting themselves get carried away. The problem is that does happen on both sides. There are MAGA hat wearing guys that go out and just scream in 14-year-old kids' faces for riding their bike on the sidewalk instead of on the street where there's traffic. Like, if it was a fucking, and if it was their son riding on the sidewalk, they might yell at him, but you don't fucking address somebody else's kid like that. Like, if it's a 14-year-old kid. Now, if it's a goddamn adult ass man and he's coming riding straight at you with the bicycle, fucking knock him out. I'm down for that. But it was just a recent video that came out. This woman's yelling at this kid, and I'm sure she was right. Like, the guy shouldn't have been riding on the sidewalk. But whatever happened to picking your battles? Whatever happened to just differentiating what is worth your goddamn time to fight over, and understanding the temperature of the fucking room? Like, I don't go into a room where everybody's talking about fuck Trump, fuck Trump, fuck Trump. Or no, or the other, or vice versa. Like, hey, we love Trump, we love Trump, we love Trump. But they say one thing, like, well, yeah, but he's still, like, I'm not gonna go in there and say, well, I don't like the way he communicates. That's true, 100%. Like, there are things I agree about what Trump has done, but I fucking absolutely hate the way he communicates. I've said the same thing about you and Kim. I think you guys are a little more aggressive than I would ever choose to be, but I still fucking like you guys. Like, just because I disagree with your communication pattern, but I'm not gonna fight with you over that because we're just gonna differ there. I'm a much more passive person than you choose to be. You are willing to die on certain hills that just I am not. And there needs to be a respect level there where, like, your battle is not my battle, man. But if you can respect each other, and as long as you're not out there hurting anybody, there's nothing wrong with communicating with emphasis. The problem is when you start, talking down to people or treating people like the lesser. Like, well, they're not lesser. They may be less informed, but it doesn't mean they're lesser. They may be less experienced. It doesn't mean they're lesser.
Right, and I think that this conversation is going pretty well because this flows directly into what we were just talking about. If you take two steps back from the points you were just making, and you say, okay, so on television, right, the media chose to take an isolated incident, a 1 in 250 million incident, in which a guy who happens to be wearing a symbol that is easily associated with a group yells at a child, right? Just like the media just took the video of that 75-year-old man getting pushed over in Baltimore. That guy was a provocateur. 75 cops just said, if you criminalize the cops who pushed him over, we're quitting the force. Because that guy was wearing a fake blood tube and deliberately fell on camera.
But that's one instance.
Now, what the media did was in both instances, they take what they know to be an isolated and horrible situation and they spin it in a way that demonizes a group and celebrates another group, but never makes you feel satisfied. It just makes you angry. It never gives you a logical conclusion.
Keep in mind,
Mhm.
for decades, the media was on the other side of that equation. Now, and they were wrong then as well, where they were just showing the black guys rooting. They were just showing the Mexicans cutting each other's heads off. They weren't showing the fucking KKK members or the white the extremists on the other end. You know what I mean? Like for a long time, black people really were persecuted in the media as the bad guy throughout the 40s, the 50s, the 60s. Yeah, every movie that came out was black gangs against really nice white greasers or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, or it was greaser movies where all the white gangs like they kind of stab each other with a knife, but everybody's still alive at the end some fucking how. But every gang fucking fight with black guys was like everybody dies.
And what
Like,
I think is important to look at with things like that are like
it's a pendulum swing, is all I'm saying. Before, just to cap it off, that's all. That's just my point. Is this is just the opposite side of the pendulum. We have to deal with it. Eventually, it'll slow down again, and some fucking comet will come and fucking knock it off the hinges again, swing it back and forth. But it just is what it is, man.
and what I think is interesting to point out about that concept is like one, who is designing these movies and the books and the shows that we're watching? Who is designing the media and who wants to tell us, right?
We are.
Well, I know that we are right now. Thankfully, there has been a shift in the last, I'd say, 20 years. Really, about the last 20 years.
Yeah, internet.
Where people are finally able to say, wait a minute, there's another perspective here, and it doesn't involve everything that everything they're trying to sell me. Because I know when someone's selling me something. And when you show me Charles Bronson's Death Wish 1 through 5, you're trying to sell a narrative. Who wrote those? Was it white America that wrote those movies? Was it black America that wrote those movies? No. There wasn't even Americans. So like, hold on here, hold the phone. Because I don't like conspiracy theory. It's dangerous because it distracts people from the truth. The truth is, you're right. You're 100% right. There's a pendulum. And the pendulum right now is shifting left. We watched the pendulum shift left before. 1928, Weimar, Germany. It shifted hard left. We had the first transsexual assignment surgeries ever, 1928, Weimar Republic. The economic collapse, the one that everyone talks about as, oh no, in Europe, in the EU, it's not the United States collapsing in 22, it's Weimar collapsing in 28, where the loaf of bread cost more than your whole paycheck, where people were selling their children to sexual parties because the leftist perspective,
You're losing me.
Right? With the perspective of society was so far over that every act that was considered depraved when things are going well was seen as something you could do to survive, and it's okay. And it swung hard to the other side, and I'm really scared of what the pendulum is doing right now because the whole world is watching. 11 countries are being set on fire by an ideology, and the whole world is watching the pendulum move.
But the fact that everyone is watching, the fact that everybody's watching may increase the severity nature of these things, but I think it's severely reducing the duration. Just like going back to how music doesn't fucking last, neither does hate, dude. Neither does a fucking virus, apparently. You know, nothing is built to last anymore. I think what's happening is the end of the world is speeding up. You know, moment to moment is going to start passing more and more quickly. Everything's going to be just less and less important, and eventually it's just going to blink out of existence. I think we're just speeding up to I think we're a flashing bulb, just getting faster and faster and faster until we fucking just blink out of existence.
Yep, it's Joe Rogan had a bit about that actually. Back when he was still a comedian.
Take a shot. It's our birthday tomorrow, so I'm not holding back.
Well, birthday as the release of this episode.
Really, this would be. Oh my God! Today is our birthday, everybody.
Happy birthday
episode.
This is our birthday episode. Thank you, Tim.
Yeah.
Thanks for this. This was a good one. I had my reservations in having you on.
Well, I'm sorry for that.
But to be fair, I had reservations of having myself on today. So
look, like
it's not personal.
That's fine. All I'm trying to scratch at here is ideologically, there are people, you're right, hate is baggage. And unfortunately, you have to watch the whole movie to get to the end and understand that every time. But hate really is baggage, and it feels good. And does anything that feel really good, do you any positives in your life? If it's a foreign object you can bring in, like think about, okay, maybe mushrooms don't always make you feel really good. It's shit. They also give you the shits and the shakes. They also make you feel weird the next day. You get a hangover, get a halo. I'm talking like really dangerous things that make you feel great, right? Dope, right? Dope is dangerous. Oxycontin's dangerous. It makes you feel good. That's all it does is make you feel good. It dumps your feel good. It damages your brain with how much of your feel good it dumps all at once. Pours the whole glass out instead of giving you as you're supposed to have it, little bit, little bit.
And,
Little bit.
and sex gives you kids, and sex gives you kids. We're all just living a yin yang of life, man. It'll all be all right. You know what? I wanted one more. I just wanted to get one more point about our ability to communicate in this fashion, in this podcasting realm. I believe, getting back to the science that no one ever used to understand. Now we understand the idea of testosterone and the release of endorphins, that we could smell each other's aggression across the room. If me and you sat across from each other and we had the same discussion, at some point, would our pheromones be so against each other just because of the slight level of aggression that, whether it's considered aggression or not, these hormones are telling us that it is, because we disagree on a slight subject or another? Is that the reason why we can't have these discussions in person? You don't see these discussions happening across the table from each other with people that you don't want in your house. Like, oh, I'll have them on Skype, but I wouldn't have them sitting across from me. Not that this situation, just hyperbolizing the whole environment here. Because I love communicating with you. Because there's obviously things where we obviously agree on a fucking lot, really. It's just, again, style of communicating is different. Same issue I have with my father. I agree with my father 99% of the time, but we can't fucking talk about any goddamn portion of it because our fucking aggression levels get so intense.
It's an ironic double-edged sword because before I went to prison, I had a bit more of a flight response. I had a bit more of I will acquiesce and I will pick a bigger battle later. And when I got locked up, the line between aggression and assertion got completely blurred for me. So when I need to make myself heard, I don't realize that I'm actively threatening whoever I'm talking to. I don't see it. I don't smell it. I don't notice it. And other people do, especially other people that have been conditioned to feel afraid or conditioned to feel like a victim, because there's the triangle of victim, victimizer, rescuer. Once you've been one, you're going to be stuck in there. So I consciously make an effort not to actively victimize other people and not to allow myself to feel as if I am a victim. But that means I'm locking myself into constantly trying to fight other people's battles as a rescuer. And that's not a good place to be either. So when you're in that triangle, it feels good. The hatred, the anger, the aggression, it feels vindicating because you're actually saying you're speaking your piece. You're giving your truth out, right? And in a one-to-one communication with a human being, you would look at me and understand I'm not mad at you. You'd be able to understand through cues in ways that are even easier to understand than on video exactly where I'm coming from. And I think that the idea of the aggression, these computers make it worse because I don't know. I can't smell. I can't notice. I can't notice the human being on the other side. I have this fake version of it. I have this no serotonin's coming through from this screen. I need that when I smell a person. My oxytocin's not going to flow from looking at a screen. All I'm going to get is dopamine and anger. All I'm going to get is the negative stuff.
So you're on the opposite side of that thought, because I'm completely on the other side of that. I feel like this, because it eliminates the testosterone odor or the because the perspective is only on a two-dimensional screen, not a three-dimensional screen. I don't see those microaggressions, or for a fucking shitty ass term to use. I'm sorry to even throw that out there, but it is like when a person like leans forward and like eyes widen a little bit. In person, it's a lot more easy to understand that he's not just sitting up in his chair. No, he's leaning forward to really fucking be poignant about something, or pointing about it. With that, but being on a two-dimensional screen, it seems, I can feel a little bit more. I know you're not going to get up and punch me in the fucking face because I said something wrong. You know what I mean? But maybe that's exactly the difference between like a left-leaning guy like myself and a more right-leaning guy like yourself, is that you are more comfortable with that aggression level. And I'm like, because maybe I had more of a victim mentality and you didn't, you had to overcome that due to your life experiences more than I had to. So I just understand that victim mentality. I'm more passive, and I try to just fucking, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like you said, you grew up having to assert yourself a hell of a lot more. I should have, and I wasn't given the opportunity. I don't know, man. I'm getting lost in all this. This podcast got away long.
No, that was great. That was really insightful. Thanks for sharing that. That thanks. And my point here, and where I think we can come together again, because you're right, our perspectives tend to meet in the middle. They really do. How I want us to come here and start moving forward is why is social media dangerous for kids? Because this synthetic relationship through a screen is not human communication. Fundamentally, it's not. It's missing crucial parts. And it's creating a divide.
That's social media. That's not like if my kid wanted to start a podcast with some kids in his class, absolutely, it's another form of socializing. It's a play date. This is a play date for me with you, exchanging ideas and communicating with respect. You know.
I mean, if your kid wants to start a podcast, he's basically starting the AV club. He's basically starting an audio video club. That's fine. The difference.
But that's podcast, not one of these YouTube unboxing shows where it's just look at me, vapid entertainment. No. Communicate ideas. That's what I want.
Yeah, but further, you would need to make sure that because all even through podcast, all of the communication that we're getting through these screens, on your feeds, on your texts, in your messages, your Snapchats, that's psychologically designed to create this separation in which you are less comfortable human to human than you are in the sterile environment of screen to screen.
You're saying it's designed, but that's such a...
It's in their paperwork. From the founders of Facebook, it's in their paperwork. They said that they're aware they're, quote, destroying the fabric of society. I'll send you the links. That's why they quit. That's why everyone but Zuckerberg quit Facebook. He's the only one that founded it that's still working for them. Because he goes, oh my God, we're destroying the way human beings communicate. This will be permanent.
Hold on, but that was recently, right? That was due to this Black Lives Matter. No, when was this?
This was years ago when I was still living in New Jersey. I was reading these interviews.
Oh, shit. I'm so happy I haven't had Facebook for like 9 years. Although I'm still on Instagram, it's still there.
Apparently my Facebook still exists, but I was banned from using it. So I haven't used it in years. But apparently it's still up somewhere. I was banned from using it, but they brought it back, I guess. Because of Section 230, I never said the N-word. I never called a woman the C-word. I never did any of that stuff. I would just say what I thought. And sometimes it was very angry. I'd write poetry on there. I was in high school. And I don't use it. The only thing I use right now is Instagram. And that in itself it's disgusting because these people don't mean the shit they're saying. They're reposting memes that someone else made.
I've actually boycotted it. Like I've gotten on to share the stories lately and just like the thought, like I'm just trying to put out I don't give a fuck if TikTok China wants to fucking follow me. I'm just putting out bullshit entertainment for me, man, to know that I'm just putting out something for people to smile at into the world. Fucking look at my tattoo. Look at this. I'm not posting black screens. I don't have a dog in the fight, so I'm not going to fucking say a goddamn thing about it. I'm not black. I'm not white. I'm not a business owner. I'm not out there protesting. I'm not willing to get up there and fucking die on that hill, so I'm not going to open my mouth about it. That's the only reason I wanted to avoid it here. It has nothing to do with not wanting to hear your perspective. It's just I don't feel right to have one in this particular moment. I don't feel comfortable expressing mine at the moment because it's like who I vote for. It's nobody's fucking business. Like if I'm not entertaining you, what am I gonna do, to preach to you? Like it's not my place to preach to you. You're a grown ass man. You figure your own goddamn shit out. Let's discuss the differences, but I'm not gonna try and force you to different. I love you.
Exactly, man. I love you too. It's important for people to think and to remember that we are, like we were just saying, we're all just kids, man. When you watch kids get in an argument on the playground when you were younger, how many times did we watch that happen? How many times were we in those? And you watch it and you're, oh man, now Jesse and Phil are going to start punching each other. And it's like, well, I wish they'd stop doing this. It wasn't their marble either way. I watched it roll in here. It wasn't either of theirs. And dude, we're all watching that. And we can cognitively decide on our own right now to be like, hey, we might disagree. We might agree. But I'm going to consciously calm myself down and bring us to a place where we can communicate openly. And okay. But on a mass scale, we can't do that because we aren't arguing with each other. We're just robots anymore.
That's what we're doing, though. Right. But that's what we're doing. We've got the two factions fighting over the fucking marble, and instead of all these groups of people coming in to fucking stop the fight, they're going in choosing different sides. It's like, well, where are the people that are standing in between the cops and the fucking and the rioters? You know, there's nobody in between the rioters and the cops. It's just the rioters and the cops. Where's the neutral ground people like myself? Like, I'm too scared to get out there. That's my point. Like, the people that are the pacifists and want peace aren't willing to go out there and fucking die on their stand. We're not willing to light ourselves on fire in the middle of the fucking street like that monk did back in the fucking 80s or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's what we need to do. So fuck this, man. You just motivated me. Between you and other friends of ours on Instagram, I think I'm getting motivated to get out there and just not protest, not fucking stand out there on the side of the cops, but just fucking stand there in between them both and say, "Stop it, stop it, go to your fucking rooms, both of you."
The children are watching you guys. Like, just guys, kids are watching you. Will you stop it? Will you? What example are you setting? You're setting cops on fire.
All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. This podcast is over. It's gone on for about an hour.
Exactly an hour.
We got to change the last question just to leave it on a good note. It's our birthday today. Happy birthday, Frank.
Happy birthday.
Fucking love you, man.
Tony.
1 year. We've been almost 1 year. We'll be doing this next month. It's been a great fucking year. So, Tim, I want to ask you, what has been your favorite birthday experience, whether it be yours or somebody else? Your favorite birthday you ever celebrated?
It'll be, well, both of them were with Kimberly. One was when I'm tied between my 14th birthday, my 15th birthday and my 26th birthday. My 26th birthday, I went with Ann Coulter, Milo Yiannopoulos, Kim, and a bunch of other great folks, including Kim's parents. And we all got to go to this really nice restaurant in Manhattan. And I got to have one of the most intellectually stimulating conversations I've ever had in my life. I felt so stupid, and it was so fun. Like, I felt so dumb in comparison to everyone around me, and it was great. And then and then the other one was when we were 15. I came into New York because I lived in a shitty part of New Jersey. I would take the NJ Transit rail up to see Kim in Manhattan every weekend or every given opportunity, basically. And when I got there, from the day I got there, because her birthday's the day after mine, or no, the day before mine. Her birthday's the day before mine. Yes. So it turned into.
When is your birthday, real quick?
The 25th of October. Hers is the 24th. She's technically the older woman. Technically.
That's cute.
I like to think I followed her down. I was born like 6 hours after her. But like.
Oh, you saw her going like, ooh, who's that? Whee!
Yeah, pretty much. So the whole time I was there, we just hit all these great spots in New York that like I didn't know anything about. It was beyond my repertoire, and I didn't really want like a present, so to speak. I'm sure she got me awesome shit anyway. She always used to give me like cutesy gifts, but I just remember feeling like I was experiencing something new that I wasn't supposed to get the chance to experience. Like when you see a new car commercial and you're like, that's not for me. They're not selling that to me. They're not selling me the new Range Rover 2020. They're not. They're selling it to somebody else. I'm just happen to be watching it, right? I actually felt like that day was for me, and it felt really, really good.
That's awesome. Like the universe aligned to give you this day for you to enjoy and to soak in.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, your ideas, for being such a gentleman in your communication. Again, when I say it's the post. It's just the nature of memery and trying to get ideas out in a picture. So I feel like I might sound a little more aggressive towards you. Like I'm not. Communication styles just different.
It's fine.
But I use this so much. Yeah, but that's the point of this. Is why we wanted to make sure we had you back on, and because people need to know this communication can happen. Except for with Frank, because I completely forgot he was here.
Oh, I was all the time.
Well, we're over. Frank, how you doing? Any last words for us? Anything you want to say?
Well, shit, just the whole happy birthday to us, because I really thought you were going to fucking forget. I'm like, this conversation is like fucking so fucking, like it picked up momentum, and I'm like, he's going to go well over the hour.
Yeah.
And we're going to do 2 hours instead of 1.
Well, feel free to hop on with Kim, but I think we're going, are we down to do the second with Kim?
Yeah.
Is that what we're doing here? So there's a little teaser for you guys listening this Monday, this June 8th, our birthday episode with Mr. Tim Tox6. Find him on Instagram along with the Magoa, MAGOA account. That's
Motivated Armed Girls of America.
I always forget motivated. Motivated Armed Girls of America. Oddly, the page is run by the only male portion of that, right?
Yeah, I'm one of the social media admins for them, but they just needed someone to help, and I think it's important that young girls be motivated and armed in America. Like I think it's
Absolutely.
really.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. I mean, not all feminists are women, guys. All right, guys. We love you guys. Yeah, I'm sorry. Anyway, completely inappropriate podcast at gmail.com. Find us at CI Podcast on Instagram. Completely in app with 1P on Twitter. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, BitChute, YouTube.
Facebook, YouTube, BitChute, completely inappropriate podcast.
Yeah,
Throwing
all
some
that
underscores
shit.
for BitChute.
You guys want to share us with your friends? Your friends don't have a iTunes. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher,
Google.
Google, blah, blah.
Wherever you hear
blah, blah.
podcasts.
Just Google the fucking
Yeah.
podcast, guys. Grow the fuck up. Anyway, this has been the Completely Inappropriate Podcast. Tim, any last words for the people?
Nope. Do your thing, guys.
Great. Awesome. Frank, what do we tell them?
Be excellent to each other.
And find you're happy and just try and be better today than you were yesterday. Goodbye, everybody. Much love. Say bye, Frank.
Bye, Frank.
Frank.
Wait, you're gonna...
Oh, I almost hung up.
Yeah, I'm like, don't hang up.
No, just stop the recording.